Hey there, Knolly Williams here, the Business Healer. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm super excited that you decided to hang out with me today. And what we're talking about, we're actually going to go to my business partner, Curtis Johnson, and he's going to share with you about revenue share, why it is the best opportunity for any business. You know, actors, athletes, you name it, inventors, entrepreneurs, they're using revenue share as the vehicle for lifetime wealth. And if you don't know about it, if you don't know about this vehicle, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family to know more about it. So check out this video. You're absolutely gonna love it. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up, share it with those you love as well. And leave me a comment down below. Let me know how you intend to incorporate revenue share in your business model as well. All right, check out the video.
Why the highest paid in all the industries end up at revenue share and residual income. Okay, you guys know, who's this? Michael Jordan, right? So Michael Jordan, I've told this story, some other different things like that. So Michael Jordan, when he was coming out of college, he wanted to really be with Converse, right? He wanted other options. He didn't want to go with Nike. His agent couldn't even get him to get on the dang plane to visit the campus. So his parents had to have him go up to Nike's headquarters. Again, think about that. Someone influenced him, and somebody, essentially like a three-way call, like he had to have some help. He had to get someone to influence him, and his mother said, no, you're going to go listen to them. So Michael Jordan went out and listened to Nike because someone he loved and respected asked him to. That's via Fred. He took a story I had before, and he said, no, that's the big piece. And I said, yeah, that's pretty dang good. That's right. He didn't want to. Most of us don't really want to take a look at EXP, right? But someone we trust asked us to, right? So he went through. Obviously, he did really well. Signed a contract. And 1984, 21-year-old rookie Michael Jordan signs a 5-year deal worth $500,000 a year, which was a crazy amount of money. And he said, not only do I want a lot of money, but his agent, who had been working in the tennis space, saying tennis people were like individual. They weren't really a team. We need to make you individually the brand, even though you're on a team. So he said, we want a percentage of the revenue. And they're like, well, we don't really think it's going to be very much, but okay, we'll agree to it, even though that's really not how we do things. And the original Air Jordan retailed at the start for like $65, right? And Nike's expectation was that at the end of year 4, they hoped to kind of sell $3 million worth of Air Jordans. In year 1, we sold 126 million. So this is what Michael Jordan made over the years with this. Started out $550,000 in his contract, 4 million, 30 million, 33 million. So he made 90 million playing 15 years with the Bulls, right, and the Wizards. That's amazing. Like, he's the best basketball player in the history of like ever, right? That, in my opinion, right? He made about 93 million playing 15 seasons of working his butt off. And he made 1.7 billion in revenue share. I'll do that again. About 93 million working out every single day, having to be teammates with Dennis Rodman and taking abuse from everybody and having to play the Pistons and everything. And they made $1.7 billion golfing that people wanted to be like him. He used his image and likeness, and people wanted to be in his world, and he was compensated because they wanted to be like him. People want to be like you. Let him, right? How much is he worth? A few $1 billion now. He still sells more sneakers than anybody else, and like, he's not playing right now, right? He's been done for a long time. People are like, well, I don't think I should be compensated. Like, I just think I should stay on the treadmill. The only time I should get paid is when I'm selling houses. So Michael Jordan, long after, he's getting compensated for things he did a long time ago, because guess what? That's what rich people do. Yeah, you guys, I don't know if you guys have heard of Mariah Carey and some of the songs that you probably have heard like 40 times between here and the airport. That song she did 25 years ago. What's the song called again? Sorry, I asked yesterday. I totally forgot. Like, All I Want for Christmas Is You, right? She did it 25 years ago, and she makes between 500,000 and $1 million every single year. Right? Every Christmas, like, here it comes. Like, just like every anniversary year, almost like us, if we allow it, for 25 years she did something. Her and her producer took her 15 minutes to write that. 15 minutes, which if you listen to the song, that sounds about right. Like what'd you do it the rest of the time? You know, but again, she did it one time. That's what rich people do. They do something one time and they're compensated again and again and again. Michael Jordan, he didn't make billions because he was like selling shoes out of the back of his car, right? Like when Nike first started, he leveraged millions because we want to be like Mike. He leveraged his association to him, his name, and he took a tiny piece off the top for his partners, from his partner's revenue, okay? People want to be in your world, right? They leveraged him. People that you bring into the company, people that are watching this months from now or whatever, they're like, okay, I'm new, I don't have anything. They can leverage your name, all the things that you've done. You're like, well, I haven't really done that much, I just sell houses. Like, there's people that think that's kind of cool. There's people that want to duplicate you, and one of the gifts you get to give to the people that you sponsor and help is they get to use your good name, for some of you, right, to build something. That was a delayed laugh. I appreciate it. Thank you. That was a nice courtesy laugh. No, I looked the other direction. All right. So the choice we get to do is, do we want to, day after day, be bucket carriers? Fill up the bucket of water, walk it to the village, wake up the next day, fill up the bucket, walk it to the village? Or do we say, you know what, this seems like something that keeps happening. I wonder if we should be more efficient and we should think bigger. Think bigger. Bucket carrier or a pipeline builder. So let's talk about 3 real estate agents. Yes, real estate agents who went on to go from lock boxes to billions. Dave, Gary, and Glenn. Okay, Dave Lineker. What's the guy's middle? No way. You're blind. Get some better glass. Not even close. Right? And Gary Keller, I think, is the middle guy, and Glenn Sanford. So again, I spent 18 years building a team, focused all of my efforts on my tier 1. All the people that I could personally sponsor onto my team. I built it to 20 agents. Was a little higher, was a little lower over time, depending on how much I could stand people. And it took a long time to be able to build up to that, right? At RE/MAX, I worked in Dave Lineker's downline. Every time I sold a house, every month, Dave Lineker got paid, right? As we sold houses, he got paid every month from me. And I learned to be able to sell houses. I learned how to speed up the treadmill, and I made more gross income as I was doing. I loved my time at RE/MAX. Dave Lineker became a billionaire through revenue share and stock, and I essentially became less wealthy with that, but I was learning some skills to be able to do more. I loved the opportunity at Keller Williams. At Keller Williams, I worked in Gary Keller's downline, right? Liked my time there. I worked more. I sold even more houses. I went through that process. I learned how to speed up the treadmill even faster and made even more gross income. Gary Keller, he became a billionaire through revenue share. And you go, no, Curtis, Keller Williams, it's profit share. I said, well, he started with revenue share. And then at a certain point, they said, let's go to profit share because that makes more sense. When I say we, like that means you, but I'm going to stay on revenue share, which means I don't care if the office is profitable. I don't care if you're profitable. I don't care really anything. That $3,000 a month is going to come off at revenue share off the top every single time, right? That's paid no matter what. When I was there, right, you sold you were a good seller of that, right? That's what it was. I became less wealthy. He became a billionaire, and now at EXP, I proudly work in Glenn Sanford's downline like you do. I work way less, sell the same amount of homes. Learn the treadmill is optional. You do not have to stay on the treadmill forever if you want to. We should do the things that bring us joy and financial wealth. You shouldn't just do something because, that's just the way you've always done it or whatever. You can, sell real estate because it makes you happy. That's what you want to do. Then that's great, right? But we don't have to do that. Glenn Sanford, same thing, became a billionaire through revenue share, and I became wealthy and financially free with that. But just realize that he did what? Each one of them, did they get rich because they were popping lock boxes? They didn't, huh? They didn't get rich because they were popping lock boxes. So why would they ever build a company? Why would they ever do anything? Leverage. Leverage. Right? We honor them. We throw parties for them, everything. Why? Because they did something that somehow we feel that we shouldn't do in some cases. People talk like, well, I don't know if I should do that. You're like, that's where the opportunity is, right? I just thought that was kind of funny right there, right? Money's good to have. Sometimes I like to go through and sometimes like, if, I'm like, how much does that, like, is that person just like, why are they on that show? I don't understand why they're doing that. Why are they selling a video for like $8? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, they're broke. I got it. And you're like, people that you would never think are broke. You're like, I can't believe they're broke. And so I was showing this. I was like, just something Evander Holyfield's doing some different stuff. I was just kind of giving some perspective, something I was bored doing. And then yesterday, came up to me and said, oh, but check out George Foreman. He understood revenue share. Like, so George Foreman, 300 million. What was the difference? Like, he wasn't in the back, like, making the George Foreman grills. He was getting a little piece off of every single one, and he understood something Evander Holyfield didn't. We're up against a lot of different things. 50% of millennials think they need $300,000 or less to retire in comfort. You can laugh, because that's just amazing to me. Like, that's bonkers to me. Like, I don't even, like, how do you even come up with that? Like, that's amazing. Like, no one ever taught them how to use a calculator. Like, that's just crazy. That's crazy, right? Let's talk about some real money. How much do you really need to live comfortably the rest of your life? Going through some different stuff. The average income is about $67,000. $100,000 salary is good for an individual. 13% of females, 20% of males make over $100,000. Going through that, how much would you never have to work again, right? The average American household would need an investment portfolio valued at about $1.6 million to never have to work again, and that's really kind of just getting by. And this was obviously printed before, I don't know if you guys have seen anything about inflation. Like, so this is just totally irrelevant, right? You guys understand that was like, this is like, it's now monopoly money, right? Average median lifetime earnings of all workers are about 1.7 million. You can start going up a little bit if you've got better college and so forth like that. Put in interest, you might be closer to $3 million. And you say, okay, great. I'm going to go get rentals. I'm going to save money. I'm going to do all these things. Well, how about let's say you get $1 million. You go out and you're brilliant and you somehow do this. You sell the house. You get $1 million. How much does that come in? You in a savings account, about $417 a month. Okay? Government bond, $833. A 3% annuity, about $2,500. So how much is $1 million annuity? How much does that pay every month? About $5,600. So all of a sudden you start going, man, you know what? I'm going to have a lot of money in savings to be able to have the life that I want if I don't play the game. What happens is we start in sales, then we start to get into leverage, into hiring, and then leadership is the highest paid process. As you lead, again, if you just want to sell, sales is a great career. It's the highest paid career you can have. There's nothing wrong with it. But it also allows us the opportunity to then catapult into something that's even bigger and better, if you allow that, right? My friend Mark Z sent this to me just the other day. He's like, I know it's kind of small, but he's like, dude, do you see how little like franchise owners of McDonald's and stuff make and whatever? I'm like, yeah, they don't make very much, right? 85% of McDonald's locations are run by the franchisees. More than that, they often lease the properties at massive markups that mean even through the average McDonald's makes around $2.7 million a year. The average take-home pay for a franchise owner is just $154,000 a year. $154,000. You think of that, the all-time. You know how hard it is to buy a McDonald's franchise, right? And to be able to do that, and then they make $154,000. That's why most of them have to own several of them, right? If they're able to do that. And as of 2016, McDonald's held about $30 billion worth of real estate, right? That was the process. It wasn't about if they thought they could make more holding the restaurants and owning the franchise, they would. It's in the real estate, right? Each one of us have different needs. If your monthly revenue share, let's say it's $1,000. I get messages from people all the time. Oh my gosh, I only made $900 this month. I made $1,200 this month. And I'm like, don't ever use the word only. Don't ever use the word only. That is amazing, amazing. $1,000 would be the same as like at 5% interest, which we know that's high right now, and we're going to mostly talk about 4%, if that kind of makes a little bit more sense, and even that might be a little bit high. That would be like having $240,000 in the bank. Almost nobody has it. Let's get real. Like, most people don't. In the real estate field, you get $240,000, you're like, oh, the next time someone calls you, it's like a new tech, oh, I'll buy a website. I've got $200,000. There goes that. Right? Oh, I'm going to farm. The money goes back into marketing, right? Most real estate agents, they're like owing the IRS. They owe all these people. They don't have this money coming in all the time. So even having a little bit, even having $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 a month, let's get real. That changes the game. The numbers I was telling you earlier, yeah, that's crazy money. Most people are not going to do that. That's okay. This is, in my opinion, this is pretty crazy. If you're getting $10,000 a month, that's the same as if you essentially had $2.4 million in the bank, right? Coming off that. So when you're looking at, well, if I go sponsor agents and I'm only making, that I'd only be making $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 with that. Really, so like in 2 years, if you were doing that, that would be like, what else are you going to go do that would be the equivalent of having about $2.4 million in your savings? What else are you going to do that all of a sudden you think you're going to flip houses to get there? Let's get real. Like, you really think, okay, well, what if the market doesn't keep acting like a rocket ship? Do you think it's going to slow down at any point? Do you think you're like, and what's the risk versus this? Most people use the 4% rule for retirement, and that's $100,000 a year for retirement. $100,000 times 25 equals 2.5 million needed in savings. Let me give you the formula essentially for this, right? Is whatever the revenue share is, whatever the number is, you multiply it by 12. That's how many months we have in our calendar, right? And you'd multiply it by 25 because essentially we're saying 4%. And 4% times 25 would be 100%. Okay, just so you guys know, that's just the numbers with this. So whatever, if you got $5,000 in revenue share, you multiply it by 12 by 25. So like in my case where I had $300,000 in a month, times 12 times 25, which was like 4%, that would be the equivalent in 3.5, almost 4 years of having $90 million in the bank receiving that. And that would be if it's not growing. You guys get, like, this is not something you can go, oh yeah, that revenue thing, that whatever that's called, that's kind of a good idea. Is there anything else you think you could do in under 4 years that could even hope to get you $90 million? Not legally. Not legally, not even illegally. Let's get real, not even illegally, or some of you guys would do it. Right? What are your thoughts when you see this? Does this make you go, oh, that's like, I can't do that? Does that make you go, wow, I need to get on that train? Like, what are your thoughts? Yes.
Really spotlights the height or the massiveness of the opportunity we have. Like, it puts a spotlight on how big it's easy to think I want $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you break it down like this, it shows actually what an amazingly big opportunity it really is.
Yeah. And some people go, oh, but $10,000 a month or whatever. Like, I make that in my business right now. I said, yeah, you make that in your business. Every day you wake up and you work for that, which is great. I mean, that's great income. That's great. I make more than that now. I make $20,000 a month. Okay, that's great. But you work every single day for that. And you don't have to stop doing that. You get to actually get this in addition to that. So it's not an either or with that. Just some other things. Typical rates for book royalties. Hardcover books, 15%. Paperback, 7.5%. Friends royalty. I thought this was kind of interesting. Friends ran for 10 seasons between 94 and 2004. The show made stars out of Matthew Perry, Matt LeBlanc, all the different actors. One of the richest in all time, right? The show's success still pays dividends for the cast. In 2015, obviously years ago, USA Today reported that Warner Brothers, right, the company earns $1 billion a year from Friends. Of that amount, 2% or $20 million goes to each of the stars every single year, right? So was it better for them to say, hey, I'd like to get paid by the hour, right, for my time? You need to respect me. Pay me what I'm worth while I'm here, on the treadmill, or to say, you know what, I think what I'd like is I'd like a piece of the pie, right? Or would it even be better to, instead of just a piece of the pie, wouldn't you rather have the recipe that you can do it over and over and over? What we're talking about is the recipe, that you can do this at whatever level you want. Seinfeld, royalties, right? Ran for 9 seasons. They went through this. Julia, she doesn't own it. Michael Richards doesn't. Jason Alexander, they don't own a stake in the show. The creator and Seinfeld can each make $400 million per syndication cycle. So again, which one would you rather be? One of the owners, or one of the piece that has a piece of the pie, or you just want to make someone else's company worth more? And again, when I'm talking to you so that you can do what? Duplicate and have conversations with someone else. I know you're with us. But when you're having conversations and they're like, yeah, well, it's not really that big of a deal, you know, so, okay, the more homes you sell, do you make your company worth more where you're at? You're at this brokerage. Are they worth more? If they were going to sell, do you make them worth more? Well, yeah. So wouldn't it be better, instead of just building the value of a different company, wouldn't that be better just to value yours up? Because the reality is, as much as they talk about you can go sell your book of business, we know that's a lie. You can't do that as an individual or even as a team. You just can't do that. Like, let's call it what it is. You could have some company pay you over a few years. Essentially, it's a loan that you have to pay back at a higher. So you could do that, and if it makes you feel good to think you sold it, that's okay. But it's not really an asset, right? It's not a book of business anymore. Gilligan's Island, right? Everyone thinks, oh my gosh, they made all this money. The misconception is that we'd be rolling in the dough because we got residuals. We don't really get a dime. Okay, Sherwood Schwartz, actually he just died. He reportedly made $90 million on the reruns alone. Again, the richest people go to residual income, getting a piece of the pie. Brady Bunch, we are not making money off it at all. Okay, Chris Hemsworth made $150,000 for appearing in Thor. That's kind of cool, right? Wouldn't that be amazing to be in a movie and get paid $150,000? Well, Thor made $449 million worldwide. So which one do you want to be? Do you want to be the person on the treadmill, or do you want to be the person who has a piece of the stake of the game with that, right? By contrast, when he came up for the next one, he made $30 million for the next one. Because why? Because he got a piece of the game, right? Stocks go up. We look, did I miss my opportunity? Am I too late to EXP Realty, right? When I looked at it, it was $1,500, and that's what it looked like. It looked like, oh my gosh, I already missed it, right? Let's get real. We all said that. I remember several conversations with a lot of you. You guys all said that, like, I know, but did I miss it? Did I miss the opportunity? You didn't. You're not too late to EXP Realty, right? We're going to 1 million agents. That means we've got 930,000 agents that need to join under somebody. Why not you? Like, why not? You're either going to be part of the 12% that play or the 88% that just enjoy the company, which is great. But wouldn't it be better to play at that 12 and help more people, right? We talk about the magic blackjack table. It's kind of cool that you're there, but it's not like, okay, there's only 10 seats here and you have to wait till one opens up. You can have all your friends come. You're like, hey, come on over. We can all play. Like, your joy, you know, it doesn't take away if someone comes else and plays. Actually, it gets better. So they come over and they get to play and they get to go make money. Doesn't reduce yours any. Actually, you make more. So the idea is that it's not like a win-lose. It's not like, well, hey, I'm taking advantage of somebody, right? I've told the scenario, like, I've had people call me, oh my gosh, you've changed my life. And I call people in my organization, I'm like, man, I really wish I had made you more money. I know I make you a lot, like in theory, but they actually make me more money because I'm using their name, their resources, their impact to add credibility to my own life. And I owe them more. I'm like, I do wish I could make you more money, right? How cool is it when everybody wins? Like, I'm like, I wish I was bringing more value above, and I'm also trying to go, how do I help everybody else that wants to partner? What can I do to help you? It's a win-win. It's not like there's almost every other game. Do you guys get this? Almost every other game, there's a winner and a loser, right? I guess there's a loser in this, and that's the old model. But this new model, right, is coming through. 10 agents are joining EXP each hour, 12 hours every workday. 250,000 brokerages in the USA who are not with EXP Realty yet. But I missed it. I missed my opportunity, Curtis. Did you? We got them all. They've all come over here yet? Not even close. Do you think any of them have a pain point? Right? I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, Lester Cox, he coaches all 250,000 of them. Like almost, but like not quite. There's a few of them, right? There's big opportunities. Oh, well, you know what? They see Tariq on TV. They see Grant Cardone. Of course they're going to go with him. No, there's people they join people.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hey, I want to invite you out to Knolly Coaching Club. That's right. The Knolly Coaching Club is where I'm able to teach, train, and coach you every single week to your ultimate greatness. Now you can join for just $1. Go to knollycoaching.com and I'll see you on the inside.